Holy crap. I was a huge fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films as a kid. I mean, the concept of Spider-Man seemed really cool to me. A radioactive spider bites Peter Parker's hand, and when he wakes up the next morning, he has superpowers that give him the ability to climb on walls and swing on webs. Not to mention that it also gives him superhuman strength. I loved Spider-Man so much that I bought one of those crappy Spider-Man web swinger gloves that sprays out web fluid, which was probably some like foamy toothpaste or something, I can't remember. I also got some Spider-Man toys, I dressed up as Spider-Man for Halloween one year, and I would rent and buy Spider-Man video games from Blockbuster and Hastings. As a kid, I thought the first Spider-Man game wasn't all that great. Then Spider-Man 2 came out for the GameCube, and I never touched the first game again until years later. I didn't think it was a bad game, I just thought it could have been a whole lot better. So why didn't I like it all that much? Well, let's find out. This is Spider-Man for the GameCube. This game was published by Activision and developed by Treyarch. That's right, the same people behind the Black Ops franchise also made this game. Not only that, but they also went on to make Spider-Man 2 as well. That's just freaking awesome. You know what else is awesome? This kick-ass intro. I loved this intro so much as a kid, and I still do to this day. I also love the music in the main menu. Awesome. With starting the game, it'll ask you if you want to do the basic training or just jump into the game. So of course I chose the basic training, and it's a good thing I did because not only was it helpful, but guess who your teacher is in basic training? None other than Bruce Campbell.
Greetings. Welcome to the tutorial. Yeah, I know, you want to get on with things, beat up the bad guys, do the whole superhero thing, blah blah blah. Well, everyone's got to start somewhere.
That's right, Bruce Campbell is your mentor in this game, and he'll teach you how to do things like wall climb, web swing, fight enemies, web zip, use your compass, and use your height meter. He'll even pop in every once in a while to give you tips and tricks in the main game.
You see those heavily shadowed areas? Whenever you're in a shadowed spot like that, you become invisible to the bad guys.
I'll be honest, when I first played this game as a kid, I had no idea who Bruce Campbell was, but now things are different, and by that I mean I still barely know who he is. All I know is he's your training mentor in all 3 Spider-Man games, he makes a cameo in all 3 Spider-Man films, and he even starred in some movies that I'd never seen. This guy is one of my favorite video game trainers though. He's up there with the drill instructor from Conflict Desert Storm.
From now on, you will speak only when spoken to, and the first and the last words out of your mouth will be, "Sir." Do you understand?
I think my favorite part in basic training is when Bruce gets upset after you make Peter Parker jump off a cliff.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Careful there, Captain Jumpy.
Anyway, after basic training, you move on to the actual game. It starts off with a cutscene of Peter Parker telling you about how he tried to make money participating in a cage fight, but the fight promoter cheated him out of his money, so he didn't feel the need to help him out when he got robbed. Meanwhile, Uncle Ben got shot by a carjacker, and Peter goes off to hunt down the guy who did it. After that, Peter Parker makes a promise to use his powers for good, because with great power comes great responsibility.
Uncle Ben. Nothing could ever fill the hole left when he died. Those wounds never really heal. The beautiful redhead is Mary Jane Watson.
What the hell was that? Peter just went from being sad about his uncle to immediately obsessing over his high school crush in less than a second. Uncle Ben, I miss you so much. Dude, that redhead gets my dick rock hard. After a while, the game has you going after the Green Goblin, who is the main villain of this game, as well as the movie. The game kind of follows the movie, but it also has a few side plots and villains, which really confused me as a kid. There's a level in the game where Spider-Man's swinging by a jewelry store, then all of a sudden some bird-looking dude bursts through the windows, and then a van tries to run over Spider-Man. He stops the van, but then some yellow quilt-looking guy runs out of the van and blows up a wall with an energy beam or something. I was sitting there thinking to myself, I don't remember this from the movie, who the f*** are these people? people. Then later on, there's some guy in a scorpion suit running through the sewers in one of the cutscenes. I had no idea who any of these people were. At first I thought they were just some random villains that the developers pulled out of their ass to make the game longer. But it turns out these extra villains are from the Spider-Man animated series, and I assumed the Spider-Man comics. I'll be honest, I never read the comics, nor have I seen the animated series. I've also never seen any of the Spider-Man films that came out after the Tobey Maguire version. I kinda lost interest in Spider-Man right before the third movie came out. Back in the day, I thought this game looked really good on the GameCube, and you know what? I think the visuals still hold up to this day. The city levels look really good, especially the ones that take place at night. The levels that take place inside of buildings look good too. However, some of them are way too dark, which can be a huge problem. Spider-Man's character model looks really cool, as well as Peter Parker, the Human Spider, the Green Goblin, Shocker, Vulture, Scorpion, and even Mary Jane. Although her character model looks fine, her voice kinda sounds weird. Is it just me, or does she sound like an older woman in her 50s?
Yeah, thanks. You were great back there.
I don't know, her voice just seems off to me. Other than Mary Jane, the voice acting in this game is pretty good too. Tobey Maguire still does the voice for Spider-Man, Bruce Campbell is your trainer like I mentioned before, the guy who voices Shocker does a pretty good job, and Willem Dafoe still voices the Green Goblin. The controls are fine at best and a bit wonky at worst. Obviously you move with the analog stick, you press A to jump and do it again to do a double jump, press B to punch, X to kick, R to web swing and hold it down to swing faster, walk into a wall to wall climb, press L while moving to web zip in the direction you're running or crawling, press L while standing still to web zip straight up, and finally hold down Y and press L to suspend yourself from a web line, which I never did outside of basic training. You can also press Z and use the C stick to manually aim in the direction you want to web zip, which is extremely helpful in certain situations. The problem I have with the controls is the movement and the camera. When Spider-Man is running forward, it's totally fine, but if you try to do a 180 while running, he'll stop for a second to turn around and then start running again. It might not sound that bad, but trust me, it gets worse. If you run in any direction other than forward, the camera will automatically shift towards the direction you're running, which can seriously screw you up in certain situations. You know how in other games you can rotate the camera while also rotating the character? Well, you can't do it in this game. If you try to rotate Spider-Man and the camera at the same time, only the camera will rotate and Spider-Man will just get stuck running in one direction. This can be a problem when you have to fight enemies in small and tight spaces. Speaking of fighting enemies, you start off with basic fighting moves in the beginning, but in each level you can collect golden spider icons which will give you combo attacks. Thankfully you can check out the list of combos you unlocked in the pause menu if you forget. The red spider icons will refill your health, and the blue ones will refill your web meter. Yes, apparently Spider-Man can run out of webs when he's attacking bad guys, which is a bit strange since the web meter doesn't seem to go down when you're swinging around the city. You can practically swing around the city all day and Spider-Man will never run out of web, but try to fight bad guys with it and oh no, the web meter's down, I gotta refill that bitch. And while we're on the subject of webs and things that don't make any sense, when Spider-Man is swinging through the city, his webs don't attach to any buildings. What is it, attached to clouds or something? That would mean that Spider-Man isn't actually swinging, he's actually flying. I thought to myself, well, if Spider-Man can swing on air, that probably means he can web zip straight up into the sky, right? Wrong. He can only web zip up to a ceiling. This is so weird and confusing. The web swinging can feel a bit clunky too. Spider-Man turns pretty slow while swinging on his webs, and it gets even harder to turn when he's swinging at top speed. It can be a little bit frustrating at times. Since this is a Spider-Man game based on the movie, you're probably thinking that it's going to be nothing but fighting bad guys the whole time. But surprisingly, the gameplay changes up quite a bit. Not only are you fighting goons and villains, but you're also platforming, sneaking in buildings, disarming bombs, and there's even a level where Spider-Man is taking pictures of himself before robots start attacking him. This is also where Spider-Man teaches you how to lock onto enemies. Why isn't Bruce Campbell the one teaching me this? In the other levels he teaches you how to do certain things. Is he my trainer or not? Like I mentioned before, there's a level where you're taking pictures, one that's just pure platforming, and one where you're defusing bombs. The ones that I don't like are the stealth levels where you have to sneak into Oscorp to figure out what the Green Goblin is up to. The first one isn't too bad, you just gotta download data off of 5 computers. The second one is a huge pain in the ass. Not only do you have to sneak past guards, but you also have to avoid cameras and lasers. Look at this shit. How the f am I supposed to get past this? I couldn't sneak past these lasers for the life of me, and when I got caught, I just said screw it and tried to complete the level as fast as I could. Surprisingly, it actually worked. Of course, it wasn't smooth sailing because if you get detected, Oscorp will send killer robots after you that are very aggressive and can kill you rather quickly. They are by far the worst enemies in the game. The boss fights are pretty cool though. Instead of just wailing at the bosses like you do with normal enemies, you either have to stun them or find out the perfect time to attack. It can be a little tough since the bosses have a lot of health, but it's still pretty fun. The game itself is very short. It'll take about 3 hours to beat depending on the difficulty level. I've seen speedrunners beat this game in 30 minutes, but they were all using glitches to bypass certain sections. I'd like to see a speedrunner beat this game without glitching or cheating. Although the game is short, there is a little bit of replay value. Not only can you replay any of the levels, but you can also earn points depending on how many secrets you find, your combat style, completing a level without getting hit, and so on. You can use those points to buy new training modes and new characters to play as. Of course, if you don't want to spend hours trying to earn points, you can also use cheat codes to unlock these things. It was pretty cool to play some of these levels as the human spider instead of Spider-Man, but then I found out you can play some of the levels as Peter Parker, and then it gave me an idea. I wanted to save Mary Jane in that one level playing as Peter Parker.
Are you alright?
Yeah, thanks. You were great back there.
No. The correct response is, "Oh my god, Peter, how did you do that? Are you that spider guy I've been hearing about?" Also, Peter's lips don't move when he talks. That's kind of freaky. Like I mentioned before, this game has training modes for you to play. There's one where you beat up bad guys in a cage fight, kind of like in the movie. There's an unlockable bowling game where you have to knock down goons while web swinging, and the rest are just timed races where you have to either web zip or swing as fast as you can. You know, while this game is pretty good, as a kid I wanted to do more than just swing on rooftops. I wanted to actually walk around the streets of New York City and interact with the citizens. Perhaps even chase down some bad guys that are causing chaos. Unfortunately, you can't do that in this game. If you try to go to the city streets, in other words go below the height meter, you will fall to your death. Damn, that's some intense death music. Maybe I'll hire a DJ to play this at my funeral. I wanted to see if I could wall climb down to the streets, but there was an invisible wall blocking me from doing so. I always hated not being able to walk around the streets and do stuff. You know what's kind of funny? If you swing right above the city streets, the citizens of New York City will actually react to you.
Look up there, it's Spider-Man!
Just stay away from the bird and plane metaphors. That's that other guy.
Mommy! Mommy, look! That man is swinging from the building! That's nice to hear.
I used to do this for hours as a kid out of sheer boredom. As I continued to swing around the city, I started to notice some little things here and there. Like for instance, the cars are just flat images moving across the road. Also, if you look at the sky, you can see the words chaos fading in and out. That's actually a nice touch. Spider-Man the video game is a pretty good game. It has great visuals, decent gameplay, fun bosses, and good level design. I think it's worth checking out as long as you're not expecting it to be an open world game like Spider-Man 2. Although personally, I prefer Spider-Man 2 over Spider-Man 1. That game has better swinging mechanics, combat, missions, bosses, and story. There's also Ultimate Spider-Man on GameCube, but I can't really tell you if it's good or bad because I've never played it. I saw the game sitting at Blockbuster when I was a kid, but I never picked it up because I figured why bother when I can play Spider-Man 2. Plus, this was around the time when I started to lose interest in Spider-Man. I do remember playing a little bit of Spider-Man 3 at my friend's house, and I remember it being, I don't know, kind of bad. So yeah, the first Spider-Man game wasn't perfect, but it's not a bad game by any means. It's still a pretty fun game despite its flaws, and I think it's worth checking out if you're a fan of the film. But if you haven't played the second game yet, I highly recommend you do so. You will not be disappointed. It is one of the best movie-based games I've ever played.